So, okay, anyhow, today let us start the chapter. Okay. Uh,
Good afternoon, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Okay, cadets. In the history, uh, Indian contemporary world, that is, we have two part one and part two. Part one you are going to study in class 9th, and part two you are going to study in class 10th. So, in the history, what we are going to study is nothing but the events and processes. Events and processes means various revolutions. It may be the French Revolution, Russian Revolution. Even in class 10th, we are going to study about the national movement in India. That is the freedom movement in India. Uh, Due to the pandemic situation or the COVID, nearly 30% of syllabus is reduced by the CBSE, that is for your board examination. So presently, in the same pattern we will proceed. Are you with me? Can you hear me?
Sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yes, sir.
okay. So name of the book, that is, we have section 1, section 2 and section 3. Okay. But in section 1, you see here, uh, the chapter is the entire part is called as events and processes. In section 1, you will read about the French Revolution, Russian Revolution, the rise of Nazism, and different events that were important in making the modern world. So, what we are going to study in section 1, that is about French Revolution, Russian Revolution, and rise of Nazism and growth of rise of Hitler. In which country? Hitler ruled
Sir, Germany.
Germany. Good. Before after First World War, after First World War.
First World War, sir. Before First World War.
Hitler came to power, ruled. He became Chancellor of Germany. Before First World War, after First World War.
So after first order, after first order,
Okay. After First World War. That is after 1930s. How many World Wars were fought?
two World War,
Sir.
World War, sir.
World War One
World
and
War
World War.
One, World War Two.
Okay.
World War One and World War.
Okay. When the World War
World War.
II was over? When the World War II was over?
30. 1930, sir.
1941.
1945, sir.
1945.
1.
1945. In,
1941, sir.
yeah. In First and Second World War, who were the major enemies?
Sir, in the Second
Sir,
World War,
America and Russia.
America and Russia.
Nazis, sir.
Nazi.
Sir, Nazis and Allied
Nazis.
forces.
Nazi and
Allied and Axis forces.
Allied and Axis forces, correct. Allied and Axis forces is a name given to that group. But can you name two strong countries they were deadly against?
Sir, Germany and United States.
Very good. Germany and United Kingdom, not United States. That is England and Germany. England and Germany were the arch rivals. Okay, let it be First World War or let it be Second World War. The major enemies were England and Germany, and supported by several other countries. Few supported Germany, few supported England. Okay, that's the reason why the more countries involved, that's it's called as World War One. So in we are going to study about Russian Revolution, French Revolution, rise of Nazism, and rise of Hitler as a dictator of Germany. Very interesting as well as informative and little difficult chapter. Okay. So French Revolution, today we often the ideas of freedom, equality. So the ideas of freedom and equality, they are majorly the contribution of French Revolution. Now why we always quote French Revolution? as the landmark of liberty, equality, or the champion of liberty and equality, because French Revolution is a revolution where people fought against the monarchy, people fought against the kingdom, people fought against the existing governmental system. What is difference between American War of Independence and French Revolution? America is just like us because we fought against the British. They were our colonial masters. The same way, America fought against Britain because British captured 13 colonies in America. So American War of Independence, it is a war of a country to gain freedom against the colonial master. What is French Revolution? French Revolution, people, common man or a people of that particular country, they were fed up with the regime, and that's the reason why they fought against the king. That's the French Revolution. Russian Revolution. What makes Russian Revolution different? Can you tell me? What makes Russian Revolution different from French Revolution? Can you hear me?
Sir, French Revolution makes French convert from monarchy to a republic, sir. But
Okay.
in Russian Revolution, it will convert from monarchy into a socialist, communist country.
Very good. Very good, Kirtan. Russian Revolution, what makes Russian Revolution difference is that Russian Revolution is a revolution which is fought by the workers. Okay, the common, very common to common man, the workers led the revolution. And after the revolution, the rule of Tsar came to an end in Russia, and Russia turned into communist country or the socialist country. That's the reason why Russian Revolution inspired several countries in the world. Even today, if you see states like West Bengal and Kerala, they got very much influence from the Russia and China, because in these two states in India, there is a existence of Communist Party or the Marxist Party. Then what is chapter 2 deals about? So chapter 2 deals that we will read about coming of socialism in Europe. We are also going to discuss about Tsar Nicholas II and what happened to the Tsar Nicholas II, how the workers and farmers fought, and how the new Soviet government established in Russia, and what are the problems faced by the Soviet government in Russia. And chapter number 3, that we will discuss about Germany. And in this chapter, we will discuss about how the growth of Nazism proved a very strong threat to the Jewish population. Hitler hated Jewish population. That's the reason why Hitler killed few millions of Jewish population in a very using very cruel methods. So we are going to study about rise of Nazism and effect or the impact of rise of Nazism on Jewish population or Jewish people. So that is about the
How did Hitler died, sir?
Hitler died. You don't know how Hitler died.
No, sir.
He killed himself.
Sir, just after
All
his
are
marriage,
sir.
he died. He only
He asked his girlfriend to shoot. He killed, whatever it may be. He is killed himself because he don't wanted to get arrested and tortured by the
Yes, sir.
yeah
Peoples.
tortured by the people or tortured by England or America, whoever it may be, because that is the tragic story of any dictator in the world. Because once a dictator lost the power, then it is understood that people will not allow him to survive. Okay. So you understood what we are going to study in the history, that is about French Revolution, Russian Revolution, and we are going to about Germany, rise of Nazism in Europe. Okay. So please write down the important points here of French Revolution. Okay. Whenever we speak about French Revolution, what are the points we are going to study is one, causes for French Revolution. Then second is events and processes related to the French Revolution. Third, we are going to study about results of French Revolution. That means what changes introduced in France after French Revolution. We are also going to study about how people, common people as well as women participated in French Revolution and how neighboring countries impacted the French Revolution. So I repeat, very important topic in French Revolution is causes for revolution. What are the causes for French Revolution? Then we are going to study about events related to French Revolution. One after another, revolutions were fought, and we are also going to study about what are the changes happened in French Revolution. Then Napoleon Bonaparte. We are not going to study detail about Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon belongs to which country? Napoleon.
America.
Napoleon ruled which country?
Sir, France.
France. Can you tell me date from which year to which year?
Don't know.
Napoleon ruled from 1804 to 1815. Please write down 1804 to 1815. Now, one of the peculiar, or rather we can say bad luck of French Revolution or a French government. You see, I told you about American War of Independence. When American War of Independence was fought? When American War of Independence was fought? Which year? Don't know. American War of Independence, 1776. Which year?
1776 to
Okay. America became democratic country in the year 1779. 1779. French Revolution was fought in which year? Outbroke?
1789.
Yeah, 1789. So from which year France should be a democratic country?
sir, from 1792, sir.
1792. Why?
Two, sir.
What reason for that?
Sir, because 3 years are needed for making the constitution and other things, sir.
Okay, you just I think arrived at a conclusion along because of the American War. Okay, anyhow, good one. But actually, what happened in France? No, it's a very that's what I'm saying. Very tragedy of France. French Revolution was broke out in 1789, and the people of that particular country, they were able to remove the king from the power. But from 1793 to 94, that is in the year 1793 on 21st January, the king of France, Louis XVI, was guillotined, means killed by the people. But once the king was killed or guillotined, Louis XVI was guillotined, don't think that France celebrated victory. Immediately, France went under the control of a person called Maximilien Robespierre. Maximilien Robespierre, who was Maximilien Robespierre? He was a leader of a club called Jacobin Club. Club, don't think what we have in India like that club. This club means a group of people who are actively organizing revolutions against the king. So Maximilien Robespierre ruled France from 1793 to 1794. So he ruled from Maximilien Robespierre ruled from which period to which period?
Sir,
1793
1793 to 1794.
Okay. Which club organization he belongs? Jacobin.
Sir, Republican Club.
Jacobin Club. Jacobin Club. I'm explaining. I'm giving a brief idea. Point by point, we'll discuss in later on classes. So the period of Maximilian Robespierre's period is called as Reign of Terror. What is called terror?
danger.
What do you mean by terror?
Sir, hatred and fighting.
Terror is fear. Okay. So that period of 1793 to 1794 is called as reign. Reign means period. Period of terror. Why? Because Maximilian Robespierre was very strict administrator. He was never bothered about any person or freedom of any person. So France, even though they had their own constitution, but it went under the control of Maximilian Robespierre in the up to 1794. After 1794, France faced several revolutions. And in the 1804, France went under the control of Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte was elected, or he was a king who captured the France?
Elected, sir.
No, Napoleon Bonaparte was a dictator. Of course, he was not a
Sir, he
dictator like,
was in military, sir.
yeah, he was not a dictator like Hitler. So France was ruled by Napoleon Bonaparte from 1804 to 1815. And after Napoleon Bonaparte was killed by England, that is in the Battle of Waterloo. Battle of Waterloo in
Waterloo.
in 1815. Okay. Battle of Waterloo in which year?
1815, sir.
1850.
1815. So whatever the kingdoms captured by Napoleon Bonaparte once again redistributed among the kingdoms, four kingdoms who defeated Napoleon Bonaparte. So France once again went under the control of traditional monarchy, and it is only after 1843 France became a full-fledged democratic country. So imagine a bad luck of a country which championed the revolt or the revolution in the year 1789, but they could not enjoy the benefit of that freedom. Hope you have got my point.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Sir, from when to when Napoleon, sir?
1804 to 1815. 1804 to 1815. Napoleon died a natural death only. He died in the year 1821. Okay. So on morning 14th July 1789, the city.
Sir, why Napoleon lost power, sir?
Napoleon was actually what happened? No, Napoleon done a historical blunder. It is called a historical blunder because Napoleon attacked almost several European countries. It is believed that 39 European countries were defeated by Napoleon Bonaparte, and he done a confederation. He was very such a strong king. And Napoleon had a dream of visiting and defeating Russia. Now imagine France is a geographically such a small country, and can you imagine the size of Russia when compared to France? So Napoleon had a dream of capturing Russia. So he attacked Russia in the winter season, and Napoleon had no idea about condition of winter in Russia. How is the winter in Russia?
Sir, minus 30 to minus
Extreme, sir.
What's
50
minus?
degrees, sir.
Yeah, Siberian desert. Hope you heard about it. Na? Migratory birds.
Sir,
sir.
cold desert.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Russia faces even minus 45 to 50 degrees Celsius sometimes. So imagine the winter is very horrible in Russia. Napoleon attacked Russia in the winter season. So when Napoleon's army attacked in the Petrograd, that is Saint Petersburg and nearby places, no Russian soldier was there in the battlefield. So Napoleon's soldiers were forced to fight with whom?
People,
No, fight with the weather, the cold climatic conditions. Fighting in the sense they were forced to survive with the extreme weather or the climatic conditions. So what happened? Napoleon, it is as good as Napoleon neither defeated Russia or not Russia lost a good, means the war, actual war was not fought there. So when actual war was not fought, Napoleon returned back to France. But when he returned back to France, more than 50% of his soldiers were died due to
Cold, sir.
yeah,
cold, sir, cold.
Cold weather.
yeah, extreme weather conditions. So when Napoleon reached back to France with losing 50% or more than 50% of his army, England understood that this is the right time to defeat Napoleon Bonaparte, because England tried several times to defeat Napoleon Bonaparte, they could not succeed. So the moment the enemy he became weak, then naturally the England along with other countries, they made a federation or a group and they attacked Napoleon Bonaparte in the
Waterloo.
Battle
Waterloo.
of Waterloo.
Battle of Waterloo and defeated Napoleon Bonaparte because of his the reduced army. Now you see, when you refer history, Chanakya or Kautilya, you know Kautilya,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Chanakya told in his Arthashastra that attack the enemy in his weak point. When your enemy is strong, if you attack your enemy, that is your foolishness, because it is understood that you may win the war, but you may face heavy loss. But if you attack your enemy when your enemy is weak, one, you can win 100% ensure that you will win the battle, but with what? With
Less loss.
yeah, very good. With minimum damage, or that is the, you see, cadets, what is the beauty of Indian history or Indian thinkers, philosophers, that even today in 21st century, what Chanakya or the Kautilya told in those days in politics, that is even today it is implicable. Divide and rule, attack the enemy when he is weak, enemies, make the friend of enemy, like lot of theories, that is called Saptanga theory. Whenever you get an opportunity, just because I think few Hindi channels, they are coming out with the serials, isn't it, about
Mahabharat, Ramayan, other.
about Kautilya, Chanakya, Kutila Niti,
Sir, Ashoka.
yeah. So what is the beauty of these is they are really explained about the politics, that is Rajaniti, which today very important for the political parties. Anyhow, hope you had a class in between when I was on leave. Arrangement was there.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anyhow, another continue 1 month nearly like that before you have your PT examination in the month of October.
Still not got
Yes,
timetable,
Sir,
sir.
sir told March
half
2nd.
yearly.
Okay, you have your half yearly, that will be decided by CBSE, na?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, that will be decided by your, not by the school, I think. Your half yearly will be decided by CBSE. Hopefully, and I really pray for that you should come to school by that, so that things will be settled down. Don't worry, cadets, because now nearly 50% of chapters are over, because political science almost one chapter is left. History 3 chapters. Even 2 months are enough for me to complete the topics. That's not a problem. Okay. The term and the exam.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Take care. Tomorrow we'll continue the chapter.
Bye, sir.
Have a nice
Bye,
day,
sir.
sir.
Bye bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye, sir.
Akash Kote, bye, bye. Bye, sir.
Thank you.
Have a nice day, sir.
Thank you.
Bye, sir.
Bye bye.